Hi, I'm Mara Elgin, 32. I grew up in a house where my mother's favorite son ate, first slept warm, and wore new. I got what was left and learned to say thank you. Years later, I finally owned something that wasn't a hand-me-down, a small cedar shingled place by the water. Late afternoon. Windows open, kettle humming. Then my father walked in without knocking, glanced around like a foreman, and said, "This'll do for Colt and the kids." I smiled, unlocked my phone, and made the one call I'd been saving. Before we go further, what time are you listening and where from? And tell me, what would you have done at that door? The light slid across the floorboards, turning the room honey gold. The tide hissed and fell. A lemon verbena candle burned low on the table. It was an ordinary moment that felt safe. My father ended that. Malcolm Elgin never raises his voice. He doesn't need to. He wears decisions like a uniform. Today it was a gray jacket, dust on the cuffs, the same proud set to his jaw I knew from childhood. He took in the high rafters, the long table. I sanded myself the clean line where sky met sea. "Too much space for one person," he said, strolling through the living room like it was a showroom. "Colt's lease is up. A baby on the way. You've got room." He doesn't. He was 58 now, still strong, still sure. I stood by the counter and wrapped my hands around a mug so he wouldn't see them shake. "I manage," I said. He hummed as if I'd confirmed his point. He opened the screen door to the back deck, exhaled at the view, and closed it like he was testing a hinge he'd soon replace. "Family helps family." He meant I help them. His words pushed me backward in time. 8 years old, watching Colt's new red bike roll into the yard, chrome bright as ice. My gift came months later, his old green one, tape holding the seat together. At dinner, the serving platter stopped at his plate first. If I reached too slow, the bowl came back to me, scraped thin. "Be grateful, Mara," my mother would say, voice warm for him, flat for me. Roof, food, enough. Enough for who? Back in the present, Malcolm drifted down the hall, peeking into rooms without asking. I trailed him, letting the sea breeze cool the heat in my cheeks. The guest room, the office, the narrow attic stairs I rebuilt with my own hands. Every space he looked at was a space I had earned. Not a favor, not a gift, not his. He paused at the doorway. "I'll have a word with your mother," he said, like a judge scheduling sentencing. He tapped the railing once, satisfied, and left. The screen door side shut. The house was quiet again. The kettle clicked off. My tea had gone cold. I locked the door gently, palm pressed to the wood. It felt solid. Mine. My other hand closed around the keys in my pocket until the teeth bit skin. I breathed out slow so I wouldn't cry. Then the phone rang. Mara. My mother never opens with hello. Iris speaks in conclusions. "Your father tells me Colt needs more space. You've got more than you can use. It only makes sense." "Makes sense how?" I asked. "Don't twist me," she said, already twisting. "Family steps up. You don't even like big places." I watched a gull slide across the window, wing sharp against blue. "I like this one." She sighed like a curtain falling. "Think about what's right." The line went dead. 20 minutes later, another call. Aunt Rena. Her voice turns syrupy when she wants something. "Sweetheart, I hear you've got a lovely house all to yourself. Wouldn't it be precious for a baby to hear the waves at nap time?" "I'm not renting," I said. "Oh no, not rent," she sang. "A gift." I ended the call before from the heart could land. 10 minutes, new ring, Uncle Dale this time. "Your brother has a family. You've got a view. Let's be adults." They were reading off a script and I could hear whose handwriting was on it. I set the phone face down and listened to the ocean. In my 20s, I would have folded. I would have told myself peace was worth the price. I would have called it love. Not now. I pulled a notebook from the drawer and wrote the parcel number, the title reference, the purchase date. I underlined my name. Twice. On another page, I listed people who understand boundaries better than blood, an attorney I'd hired 2 years ago when I locked down my credit. A broker Juno once mentioned who specialized in quiet deals. A contractor who could document every repair I'd funded. The pen dug a groove into the paper. I took one breath too, then I dialed Juno. She answered on the second ring. "Tell me you didn't hand him your keys." "Not even close," I said. "Can you meet?" There's a photo of me and Juno from high school, hair frizzy from salt air, faces sunburned, grinning like fools. She was the one person who never treated me like a spare part. My anchor. She still is. We met at a cafe that always smells like cinnamon and warm plates. Juno slid into the booth across from me, eyes quick, mouth already set. "Okay, start at the top." I told her about Malcolm's inventory tour. Iris's sensed the chorus of relatives arriving on cue. Juno stirred her coffee slow. "If they're rolling out the choir, your dad's already pitched this plan to them as a done deal." He's counting on you to play the role you always played. Quiet, useful, disposable, I said. Exactly, she leaned in. You own the deed. That means you own the timeline, Mara. Don't let them set it. The words landed like a key in a lock. I looked at my hands. Calluses still faint from the rebuild. Stitches of dried paint near my thumb I never fully scrubbed off. Proof. If I move first, they can only react, I said. Now you're thinking. Juno's smile was small and dangerous. I know someone, very discreet. No Sunday open house, no gossip. Cash buyers who sign NDAs like they're napkins. My phone buzzed across the table. Malcolm. I flipped it, let it ring out. A minute later, a text. Saturday. We're coming to look. Make time. I showed Juno, she rolled her eyes. He's daring you to resist. Good, I said. He can finally see me do it. She took a sip, then went practical. That's Juno. Before you move, you document everything, scans, photos, receipts, and you call Nate. Nate. Title attorney, she said. Dry as paper, unstoppable. He'll triple-check the chain and set booby traps if anyone tries anything cute. My chest loosened for the first time all day. The plan wasn't joy, it was oxygen. We finished our coffee. Juno hugged me like she meant it. Text me when you're done with Nate, she said. I'll tee up the broker. Outside, the wind had shifted. The bay wore small white teeth. I drove home by the slow road and watched the long grass bough. When I pulled into my driveway, a white SUV I knew too well sat by the curb. Malcolm leaned against the fender with his arms crossed like a fence. I parked, stayed in my car, and counted to 10. Then I got out carrying a stack of file folders. He viewed them the way a cat views a bath. Colt's stopping by Saturday, he said, skipping hello. We'll see where the crib fits. Saturday won't work, I said. He studied my face. You'll make it work. I set the folders on my hood careful and looked at him evenly. I've made a lot of things work. This isn't one of them. For a flash, his mouth twitched, surprise breaking through certainty. Then the mask slid back on. He pushed off the car. You'll come around, he said. You always do. He climbed in. The SUV engine grumbled to life. He didn't look back. Inside, the house smelled like salt and lemon and sawdust memories. I lined up the documents on the table, deed tax bills, contractor invoices with my signature photos from the day I got the keys, me in a paint-splattered sweatshirt, hair tied up, grin ridiculous and real. I took fresh scans and sent them to a cloud drive locked behind so many passwords even I had to pause and think. Then I called Nate. He answered with a dry hello that made me trust him instantly. I explained. He listened without interrupting. Chain of title clean, he asked. Clean, I said. Any liens? None. Good, he said. I'll file a notice of interest and prep a seller's packet that closes fast. If anyone tries to monkey with county records, I'll see it before they finish their coffee. I exhaled. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, he said. Just be ready. By night, the water went black and slick as glass. I stood on the deck with a sweatshirt tight around me and let the air sting my face. Somewhere down the beach, a dog barked twice and fell quiet. I thought of Colt 29 charming when he wants to be a smile. People mistake for kindness. He'll be the one they hold up like a flag. The manipulator is rarely loud. He's adored. I don't hate him. I hate the story we were assigned. Golden child, spare part, future, burden. A script I never auditioned for. Inside my phone lit the counter. A new text from an unknown number. Heard you're playing hardball. Careful. Accidents happen. I stared until the screen went dark. The old me would have shrunk. The me who rebuilt a staircase in a storm and learned to hang drywall by watching midnight videos didn't flinch. I typed back 4 words, see you in daylight. I set the phone down, turned off the lamps, and let the house go still. The ocean kept breathing. So did I. Tomorrow I would meet a broker who didn't advertise. Tomorrow I would move first. And tomorrow, when my family tried to take what I built, they'd learn I wasn't their spare part anymore. I was the one writing the ending. I woke before the gulls. Coffee, shower, files stacked by the door. My plan was simple, move first, then breathe. Juno texted at 6:12. Broker's in at 8. Name's Cal Wynn. Back door on Harbor Lane, I replied on my way. Before I left, I called Nate. He answered on the first ring. Run it by me, he said. I want a fast close, no public listing. I want filings that make interference expensive. I'll prep a notice of intended conveyance, he said. I'll also trigger title alerts. If anyone files junk, I'll get a ping. And Mara. Yeah, put a camera on your porch. Today, already on the list. The town was just waking when I parked by the marina. Fishing boats groaned at their lines. Harbor Lane smelled like wet rope and hot bread from the bakery. Cal's office hid behind a goldsmith's shop, a frosted door with his name etched small. He was older than I expected. Trim, calm eyes, navy tie. He shook my hand like he'd done this 1,000 times. Juno speaks highly, he said. What you want is speed and silence. And teeth, I said. Clauses that hold when family throws a fit. A corner of his mouth lifted. We'll build a cage of paper. We sat. I slid him the deed copy, the tax receipts, the contractor invoices. He scanned fast, careful. You've maintained this place to a high standard, he said. Good for value, good for my nerves, I said. Cal locked the door, drew the blinds halfway, and laid out his approach. Private showing for one buyer. NDA before they see a photo. Proof of funds first. No assignment to a relative of mine. A penalty if they leak. A residency clause to keep him from flipping and inviting gossip. You're not cheap, I said. I'm not noisy either, he replied. I have one candidate. Cash. Likes privacy. He's in town today. What's his name? Ronan Vale. You won't find him on Facebook. Good, I said. Said it. My phone buzzed. A social notification. Lila Colt's wife had posted a story. A mood board. Sea gray paint chips. White crib. Caption soon by the water. My jaw tightened. They were planning nursery colors for a house I paid for. Cal noticed my face. Problem motivation, I said. Let's move. At 9, Nate called again. Your notice is filed, he said. For extra fun, I recorded a memorandum of agreement between you and my office. If someone tries to cloud title, we'll crush it. I could hug you, I said. Please don't, he replied dryly. Send me anything that appears on your door. I stopped at a hardware store on the way home. Bought 2 cameras, a deadbolt with a code, and a stack of no trespassing signs so bright they hum. The clerk bagged everything and glanced at me like he knew but didn't ask. Small towns learn to survive on silence, and back at the house I installed the first camera above the porch. The second went by the back steps. When the app chimed online, I felt something loosen inside me. Evidence is oxygen. The phone rang. Unknown number. Mara. It's Evan Pike. The name tugged a memory. He'd fixed my porch rail last year. Clean work. Fair price. What's up, Evan? I hate drama, he said. But your dad called me yesterday. My spine went still. He wanted a quote for child gates across your deck, Evan said. Said you'd agreed to hand the place to Colt. Wanted me to start Friday. I didn't like how it sounded, so I told him I was booked. Figured you should know. You have the messages. He hesitated. Yeah, send them, I said. And thank you. Don't thank me, he said. Just don't let them steamroll you. My screen pinged. Screenshots? Malcolm's number clear as day. Mount 2 gates. Baby-proof. Family transfer is settled. The validator box checked itself in my mind. I saved the images twice. At noon, Cal texted an address for the showing. Neutral ground, he wrote. Back door 15 minutes early. I grabbed the folder and went. The space he chose was a quiet gallery between exhibits. White walls, clean light. Ronan Vale stood by the window, hands in pockets, sporty. Unreadable face. Shoes too simple to be cheap. We didn't shake on first sight. Cal handed Ronan an NDA and proof of funds form. Ronan signed without sighing, then he looked at me, not at the packet. What do you want out of this beyond cash, he asked. Peace, I said. Anything you don't want? Neighbors who gossip, I said. Or anyone who thinks my father comes with the view. He smiled brief and real, understood. Cal slid over photos. Quiet angles, no address visible. Ronan studied them with a builder's eye. Solid bones, he said. Stairs redone. By me, I said, a little proud. He nodded. Good work. The terms were simple by design. Above ask. Cash 30-day close buyer may occupy earlier under a license if needed. Heavy penalties for leaks, a clause that barred a transfer to any party with my last name for 5 years. I added one more line, no showings for anyone I have not approved. Ronan read everything, then looked up. I agree, he said. Wire ready. Cal printed a short-form agreement. We signed. The pen didn't shake. When I stepped back onto the sidewalk, the wind had shifted warm. For the first time in days, I could taste the air without worry in it. The porch camera pinged. Motion alert, a white card wedged under my doormat. I drove home slow and careful, heart steady. Iris's handwriting looped across the front family meeting, Saturday, 10 a.m., at your place. I laughed once, short, not kind. I texted Nate a photo of the note. Documented, he replied. Also expect noise. I heard Malcolm fishing at the clerk's office. What kind of noise? Vague threats with fancy names. If he files something we counter, keep your door locked. At dusk, I set water to boil and started a simple dinner. The sky went lavender. My phone buzzed. Porch camera again? I swiped. Colt stood on my steps with a small girl on his hip. Eden 4. Ponytail. Wide eyes. I opened the door just enough for conversation. Colt put on his softest voice. He's good at that. Hey, sis. We were nearby. Thought we'd show you something. He passed Eden a glossy photo, a grainy black and white arc. Baby, she said, beaming. My chest pulled tight. The innocent always does that to me. Colt held the ultrasound up like a ticket. We're excited, he said. Mom says the crib fits perfect in that alcove off your room. He blinked. Too late. He'd said the quiet part. Alcove. My alcove. Who measured, I asked. No one, he said too fast, then covered with a grin. I mean, Dad's good with spaces. Eden yawned. I kept my voice level. I'm happy for your family. The answer is still no. His smile thinned. You always had a hard time sharing. I paid for this, I said. No is a full sentence, Colt. Think of the baby, he tried again. I am, I said. She deserves parents who don't teach her to take what isn't hers. Color rose in his cheeks. He bounced Eden on his hip and stepped back. You'll regret making this ugly, he said. I'm making it clear I said. He left without goodbye. The camera caught him texting before he reached the truck. The night settled. Waves stitched the dark to the shore. I washed my plate, dried it, set it back in the cabinet. Small rituals help. At 9:30, the porch camera pinged again. Headlights swept the road. A familiar truck idled with lights off. Malcolm climbed out, walked to my door, and slid a manila envelope between the jamb and the screen. He didn't knock. He didn't need to. He wanted me to see. I waited until he pulled away. Then I opened the door and took the envelope to the table. Inside was a typed document with a bold black header. Petition to impose constructive trust. Emergency hearing requested Monday, 9:00 a.m. My hands stayed steady. I took a photo of each page and sent them to Nate. He called within 2 minutes. Breathe, he said. It's bluster dressed as law. We'll answer point by point. Bring your receipts. Bring Evan's texts. I'll be there early, I said. Good, he said. And Mara locked the gate. I walked outside with a flashlight, clicked the padlock through the chain on the side gate, and felt the metal settle. The air smelled like iron and salt. Back inside, I made a list for morning. Copies, chargers, a clean shirt that didn't look like armor but was. I set my alarm and put the manila envelope in my bag like a trophy. They thought papers would scare me back into my old role. They forgot I learned to read every line while they weren't watching. Monday was coming. I was ready to speak where echo mattered. Monday smelled like toner and floor wax. I woke before the alarm, ironed a plain blouse, and packed a binder so heavy it could bruise deed tax bills, invoices, photos, and Evan's screenshots. I slipped the manila petition into the back pocket like a warning label. Juno pulled up at 7:30 with 2 travel mugs and a look that meant business. You ready as I'll ever be? She handed me coffee. Nate's already inside. He filed our response at dawn. The courthouse was all echo and varnish. Malcolm and Colt were leaning against the wall outside Department C like they'd reserved it. Malcolm's face wore confidence like armor. Colt rocked on his heels, casual, one hand in his pocket, the other scrolling his phone. He looked up long enough to give me the soft smile he uses when he's about to take something. Won't take long, he said. I didn't answer. Juno's hand brushed my elbow, not guiding, steadying. Nate met us by the door, crisp suit, no fuss. We keep it simple, he said. Facts then law. He slid a sheet toward me. Your declaration, last page. I signed the pen, scratching clean lines. He nodded once. Good. Inside, the Judge Klein took the bench with the patience of a woman who's seen everything and prefers not to see this. Opposing counsel introduced himself as Archer Hale, voice warm enough for a lullaby. Haley stood palms open. Your Honor, this coastal home has always functioned as a family resource. My clients helped maintain it. They had a reasonable expectation it would remain available for their growing family. Ms. Elgin's sudden attempt to transfer title is inequitable. We seek a constructive trust. He lifted glossy photos like flashcards, Colt's kids chasing gulls on my sand, a Thanksgiving plate on my deck. He spoke about babies and roots and community like the law wore a cardigan. Nate didn't glance at him. He rose when Hale sat. 4 points, Your Honor, he said, voice dry as winter. 1. Ms. Elgin purchased this property with her own funds. Here is the recorded deed and bank confirmation. 2. She alone paid taxes and all improvements. Invoices, canceled, checks. 3. There is no writing or conduct creating a trust. Affidavit attached. 4. Opposing parties' conduct shows the opposite, an effort to seize, not share. He held up Evan's screenshots. This is a contractor being told by Mr. Elgin to begin baby-proofing because a family transfer is settled. It was not. He set down a stapled packet. Additionally, this pre-application for permits lists owner M. Elgin, not my client. Submitted last week without her knowledge. A clerk initialed it and flagged the inconsistency. He slid the page forward. We moved to strike relief and reserve sanctions. Hale's smile stiffened. That document is preliminary and irrelevant, he said. Judge Klein lifted the page and stared at the box checked owner. Her gaze shifted to Malcolm. Mr. Elgin, are you an owner of record? He cleared his throat. I'm her father. That wasn't my question. No, he said. Klein turned to me. Ms. Elgin, did you authorize this filing? No, I said. She exhaled through her nose like she'd stepped in something. Emergency relief is extraordinary, she said. There is no evidence of an agreement, no contributions that would justify imposing a trust and troubling evidence of optimism with forms. She tapped the permit copy. Petition denied. Further frivolous filings will meet sanctions. The gavel didn't slam, it didn't need to. The sound of Hale's breath stalling was loud enough. We filed into the hall with everyone trying not to stare. Colt's soft smile was gone. Malcolm's jaw worked like he was chewing tin. He stepped close. This isn't over, he said softly. It sounded like a promise he'd made to himself a long time ago. Then pace yourself, I said. Hale tugged Malcolm's sleeve toward the elevators. Colt waited a beat longer, as if searching my face for a crack. He didn't find one. On the steps, the cold air bit my lungs clean. Nate handed me a copy of the minute order. Carry this until you sleep, he said. Call me if anyone breathes in your direction. He checked his watch. I have filings. You have a day. Use it to be boring. Juno laughed under her breath. She doesn't do boring. A man in a dark jacket leaned against the rail, hands in pockets. Ronan Vale. Cal had texted he might stop by. He nodded. I prefer to know the temperature of the room I'm walking into. Still warm, I said. But cooling, he replied. His eyes flicked to the order in my hand. I'm still in. Funds are ready. Cal's drafting the final packet. If you want an early occupancy license for me to send in a painter, we can do that. Let's get it done, I said. He gave a small smile. I like people who decide. He stepped away without fanfare. That's why I'd picked him. Juno and I walked to the car. Halfway down the block, a woman I recognized from the library veered toward us. Tight bun, tight mouth. Marla. It's a shame she said to me, your mother is beside herself. People are saying you forged signatures. People are wrong, I said. They always are until they're not. Till they're not, she chirped and flitted off like a crow. Juno muttered, I'd like to unsubscribe from Marla, and unlocked the car. On the drive, my phone pinged. The porch camera caught a figure on my steps. Hood up. Quick hands. They slid a sheet under the mat, same as before, and ghosted away. I texted the clip to Nate. Got it. Then I braced for whatever it said. At home, the ocean was slate and silver. I lifted the mat with 2 fingers and pulled out the paper. Big, black letters. Beware of dealing with ME. Then smaller, known for taking advantage of family. Protect your property, no signature. I stared until the letters blurred. Then I folded it once and tucked it into the binder between the petition and the permit copy. Evidence, not shame. Inside, Juno opened her laptop. Time to stop playing defense, she said. We present the facts once clearly, not a rant, not a fight. People can choose their side, but they'll at least have the truth. I don't love public fights, I said. You don't have a choice anymore, she said gently. They dragged you to the square. You decide whether you stand there quiet or with a microphone. We drafted something plain. For those who asked, I bought my home myself. I paid the taxes and bills. I'm selling privately. Attached are the deed and receipts. Please don't share rumors as fact. I added one more image, Evan's screenshots with his permission. Names redacted except Malcolm's. We hit post. We put the binder on the table like a coiled thing and waited. The responses came like small weather. First a drizzle of nosy questions, then wind. A fisherman I barely knew wrote, saw her out there hauling lumber alone last winter. Someone else added, funny how Colt's always in need when she has something. And then, because there's always one Lila. If you knew how much we've been through, you'd be kinder? I typed nothing. Juno typed nothing. Silence can be a blade when used right. By late afternoon, my hands had stopped shaking. The tide turned. I scrubbed a saucepan like it had insulted me and set it to dry. The camera chimed again. This time, a man in a suit stood politely on my steps and looked straight into the lens before knocking. I opened the door with the chain still on. He lifted an embossed card between 2 fingers. County inspections. Afternoon, Ms. Elgin, he said. We received a complaint about unpermitted structural work. My stomach dropped. From whom, anonymous, he said. He glanced past me at the stairs. Mind if I look? I put on my calm like a coat. I do, actually, I said. But my attorney does not. Here's his card. Schedule with him? I took a photo of the inspector's badge, filed it in the binder, and texted Nate again. New move. On it, he replied. As the sun bled out, I stood on the deck and watched a pelican dive. The day had started with law and ended with bureaucracy. Quiet knives. I preferred the loud ones. At least you see them coming. My phone buzzed one more time. A number I didn't know. Text only. You think the judge saves you? He doesn't see everything. We do. I stared at the water until it steadied. Then I turned, locked every door, and set the alarm. Juno squeezed my shoulder on her way out. Tomorrow we finalize with Cal, she said. After that, they're bus shouting at a sold house. Let them shout, I said. At 2 a.m, the porch camera pinged. A shadow moved at the gate, then the click of the padlock metal against metal. It held. The figure stood still listening, and then slipped away. I watched the clip twice. The lock glinted like a small moon in the corner of the frame. I lay back down and stared at the dark ceiling. My heart pounded, but not like panic, like drums before a march. They were still playing the old script. Guilt, gossip, paper. Surprise inspections, midnight visits. They didn't understand the rule had changed. I wasn't bracing anymore. I was moving. And in the morning, I'd sign the paper that made that clear to everyone. Morning came clean and bright. I packed the binder. I wore flats that didn't click. I wanted silence. I could move in. Juno texted at 8:02, title office, Cal and Ronan waiting. Bring ID. On my way, I wrote. The title office smelled like lemon oil and old envelopes. Cal slid papers across the table with quiet hands. Ronan read every line. Nate joined by phone voice, tinny but steady. Short-form purchase agreement executed, Cal said. Funds verified. Early occupancy license available to begin paint and minor work under buyer's insurance. Memorandum to record today. No contact clause regarding seller's family enforceable by injunctive relief. He looked at me. Last check. You okay? I'm ready, I said. We signed. The pen made a soft, final sound. Ronan slid a wire confirmation to Cal. The escrow officer stamped again, and smiled like she had seen 100 endings and still liked this one. Keys to buyer upon recording, Cal said. You'll have 48 hours to clear personal items. Locksmith at 4 if you want him. 4 is good, I said. We left in a small stream of light. Juno bumped her shoulder into mine. Breathe, she said. We turned onto harbor and saw the first truck. It wasn't Ronan's painter. It was a rental cube van with a cheerful logo in the tailgate down. A roll of gray carpet leaned against the bumper. A crib box sat on the sidewalk like a promise no one asked me to keep. Lila in sunglasses waved men toward my path as if directing traffic in her own driveway. My heart dropped, then steadied. I pulled to the curb and parked straight. Juno's fingers flexed like she wanted to lift weights, not a phone. I walked, slow, clear. You're on private property, I said. Lila flashed her online smile. It's just a delivery, Mara. It isn't, I said. Take it back. Colt hopped from the cab, grin loaded. Don't be petty. We're helping you use the space. The space is sold. You're trespassing. He snorted. You can't sell what's family. Watch me. The mover eyed the no trespassing sign. We need a signature. You won't get mine. Colt leaned in. Think of Eden. I am. Go. He rolled his eyes. Fine. Saturday at 10. Dad's got a plan. No one's coming Saturday. Something in my face landed. He slammed the tailgate. We'll see. They left. Inside the house smelled like sun salt and paint. In the alcove off my room, blue tape on the baseboard pencil ticks at 32 inches, a small level on the sill. Someone had measured a nursery in my home. My phone buzzed. Saturday 10. Family tour. Make coffee. Another ping. Don't be difficult, sweetheart. Iris. Juno appeared, saw the tape went still. They've been inside. I photographed everything, called Nate. Change the locks now, he said. Memorandum recorded. County shows a pending sale. The locksmith came at 3:50, brisk kind. New deadbolts. New gate lock. Malcolm arrived at 4:25, tried the handle, and smiled into the porch camera. I opened to the new steel. Need something. Saturday 10. No, I said, holding up papers, recorded memorandum, no contact trespass notices. Try again, and I call the sheriff. His smile thinned. People think you're unwell. Are you worried? Silence, iron eyes. He left. Rena came with a bakery box and a whisper Malcolm had asked First Harbor for a bridge loan against family property. My house as collateral. Nate placed a courtesy call. The bank backed off. Saturday. Deputy Shea parked at my curb. Sidewalk only unless invited, she said. The convoy came Malcolm, Colt, Iris, Lila. Aunt Rena, little Eden, clutching a rabbit. Movers slid open a van to reveal a crib and changing table. Don't, I said. Colt smirked. We copied your key in June. Backlock was old. Thank you for admitting the break-in. The porch camera got it all. Shay's radio crackled. Time to leave. Before they did, Rena palmed me an envelope, a letter from Granddad, blue ink, steady hand. The Sea House is yours, not payment recognition. Love, Granddad. By Monday, the sale recorded. Closed. In court 2 weeks later, the judge denied Malcolm's emergency petition and granted sanctions. Outside, Iris handed me my grandmother's lemon cake card. "I'll try to be quieter," she said. It was her apology. I moved into a small apartment over the bakery cinnamon and new paint windows to the harbor. Ronan asked me to consult on the cannery project, paid not a favor. I said I'd think about it. I kept my promise to Eden a confetti cookie at the market. The Beware of ME notes stopped. On Tuesdays, Iris and I talk recipes. Sometimes the zest is too much and we laugh. I drive past the old house now and feel nothing but relief. It has a new story. So do I. The driftwood hangs over my couch. One shell sits by the sink. The lemon cake recipe is framed by the stove. On Sundays, I bake it extra zest and share slices with Mrs. Hahn, the careful painter, and Iris. I didn't win a war. I ended one. I learned the difference between help and harvest love and leverage. When someone knocks now, I decide entrance or boundary.